You are listening to Charting Cryptos, Commodities, and Currencies. Let's jump into these charts. We always start with Bitcoin. Not much of a trend line here for you. I'm trying to connect something. I've been able to connect 3 candles going all the way back to the 29th of July, where things sort of popped up to that interim high, then hammered over, excuse me, then sort of slid along, tending up the last 3 weeks. Doji last week, this week heading down. Right now, Bitcoin showing it's up 0.73%. We can see 5 down candles on the 2-day chart. The half day, well, it's not half day on this chart. This 24-hour a day chart. It's 195-minute chart. We can see where Bitcoin started moving up at 9 a.m. Well, it really popped up there and then slowed down as the day went along. Overall, though, Bitcoin appears to be in a down mood and a down move, retracing, again, potentially that big down week that we saw in Bitcoin and pretty much everything else back on the 5th of August. So we have a down week so far. Of course, this is the Bitcoin 24-hour a day chart. Is different than the chart that we chart on a daily basis, which is the Bitcoin ETF. People ask me, Tom, why do you chart the Bitcoin ETF? I say because it's an ETF. You don't have to have your money in a Bitcoin exchange in order to practice trade on it. You can actually do it live. You can do, again, small dollar amounts, what we call fractional trading, maybe $100 to see how good you might be getting after you get tired of paper trading. But again, we're not a stock calling service, not a Bitcoin calling service, gold, silver, whatever. We're an education firm. We want you to practice. When you think you're getting good, you can switch over to a small little dollar amount, maybe $100, and see how you are doing. And of course, we prefer ETFs. Why ETFs? Well, they're backed by all the protections of the markets. That is, if you're going through the stock exchanges, you're going through the trading houses, you're not in something, I don't know, like, remember Sam Bankman-Fried and all those problems? Well, as Bitcoin has come into its own, it is giving us some more sophisticated ways that we might play things. And of course, you do have inverse funds too. I did a successful trade on Bitcoin on the index fund. I think I did it back here when things peaked and rolled over in June. I remember going through that with you, showing you what I was doing, and it was a successful trade. So my first time using the Bitcoin inverse, which I think is BITI. I think that's right. It's one of them. But again, it was liquid and it was interesting. So again, as you add to your knowledge, you can add to your sophistication and start practice trading all sorts of things. Everything being said about Bitcoin now, it appears to be reverting back to a down move. Hopefully it'll reset and give us some good entry points. What about Ethereum? Well, we see Ethereum, again, just like everything else, that big August 5 week, beginning then on that Monday. Big down for that week. Things, again, with Ethereum didn't go to that as low a down move that next week, but it slowly started retracing. We have a down week now, even though it's up right now 1.18%. Let's move on from there and go to BITI. This is the Bitwise Top 10 Crypto Index ETF. BITW is the symbol. What is it? Was top 10 crypto funds weighted as per market share. Bitcoin being the big one, followed by Ethereum and the others. And of course, again, like everything else, big down week, that week of August the 5th. And very much like Bitcoin sliding sideways over those next 3 weeks and this week, moving back down, not to that low of that week, the August 5 week, but this week, the September 3 week, moving down today, down 1.65%. That is where we are on our cryptocurrencies. A lot of negativity hanging over things there. Next, we'll move to our commodities. We talked about sugarcane as it hit its high, its interim high back in the 1st of July, the week beginning then a doji, and then down for several weeks. Last week popping up this week, again moving up, but not as high as last week. So again, sugarcane struggling a little bit to get back where it was last week. Corn, after many weeks of down movement, looks like it's hit its low. We have an up week for corn for this day alone. We're up 1.11%. Now again, we don't have the interim low with average volume. Don't know if we're going to get to it this week. We might. But again, interesting to see corn. You know, it's used in ethanol. It's used in feedstocks. It's used for, feed to feed cattle. It's also used to feed humans. A lot of corn consumed around the world, but it is starting to head up after many weeks of down movement. Copper, we had 2 weeks up movement in copper and then rolling over. Remember, copper is used in a lot of industrial processes. 2 weeks trying to recover after 4 weeks of down movement. Then a doji back on the week beginning the 12th of August. Then 2 weeks up, but this week moving back over down again. Silver had 3 weeks of up movement. We had the interim low right there at average volume with the green spinning top. Went up 2 weeks, and then this week just canting over, tracking down. Silver just couldn't keep it up. And wheat, like corn, wheat appears to have hit a bottom and is moving up this week. Again, it's got quite a ways to go to get up to that average volume, which would make us feel comfortable that might be a sustained move. We shall see. That last move in wheat, of course, was very nice. That was back in April. Things shot up for several weeks, then rolled over. So we'll keep our eye on wheat as we continue to move along. Lastly, we'll go to our currencies. We'll go in alphabetical order. FXB, that is the British pound. 2 weeks of decent up movement. This week, pairing it off a bit. It's up for the day 0.25%, but look at the 2-day chart as things, again, weakened with that Thursday, Friday of last week, and then a red down candle. Hasn't pierced the trend line yet, but the pound may have seen its up move over. The euro even more so. Pierced the two-day chart, pierced the weekly trend line back on the Thursday, Friday, and down even further for these so far this week, Tuesday and Wednesday. Have a doji there, lots of indecision. We can see the interim high here on August the 19th with higher than average volume. Decent volume last week. This week, may be a real telltale sign of a turnaround. We're close. We may hit average volume. If you're interested in shorting the euro, you may have an opportunity to do that in a practice trade. Keep an eye on it as we get toward Friday. The yen up for the day 1.31%. Remember, the yen shot up when that yen carry trade took a big hit with the Bank of Japan increasing their interest rates. Then the Bank of Japan came in and said, we're not going to let the yen go through the roof. They tried to cut the legs out from under it some, but it has again started gaining steam over the last few weeks. Today alone up 1.31%. That is where we are on our Charting Cryptos, Commodities, and Currencies. Always appreciate hearing from you. CW@chartingwealth.com. God bless, my friends. Again, all the best from the whole team here at Charting Wealth World Headquarters. Take care.